Hello, I'm Jonasz Rewiński and this is Break the Fake. They make them, we break them, and tell you everything you need to know. In Putin's Russia, even innovation tends to have a touch of the sinister. Don't believe me? Then check this out. Remember how Moscow abducted thousands of kids from Ukraine? Well, now they have a specialized website featuring photos with visible faces and descriptions of all those kids. Essentially, an online catalog for distribution to Russian families. According to Mykola Kuleba, founder and head of Save Ukraine and former Ukrainian Commissioner for Children's Rights, what is happening can only be described in two words, namely child trafficking. On the website, you can choose a child based on pictures and a short description. As we've mentioned, their faces are on full display, so forget about privacy. What's more, they describe the kids as if they were products, obedient, calm, etc. It is also possible to filter children not only by gender but also by eye and hair color. According to Kuleba, most of the children in this catalog were born before the occupation of Luhansk region and had Ukrainian citizenship to begin with. Now, official Russian narratives, of course, will try to convince you that all this is humanitarian aid and that the kids are being rescued. Rescued from what? A normal life with their own families, in their own communities? It's like being rescued by a superhero, except the hero in question just happens to be Homelander. Also, all this tells us a lot about how Russia goes about innovation. America has eBay, China has Temu, and Russia has this, an online store, but not for goods, but for human destinies, brought to you by a bunch of war criminals, no less. All that remains is to add the option, delivery to regions of the Russian Federation, and a welcome message. Thank you for contributing to the demographics of our great country. And you know what's even more absurd? Russia, in the course of ongoing talks, has demanded that Ukraine send it full lists of children which it says were abducted. Evidently, they do that to show they don't believe a word Ukraine says, insinuating that Kiev is lying about the case. Well, in such situation, the Ukrainian side should simply send them a copy of the database from their own little Russian website, because all the evidence of their war crimes has long been available in their official resources. Instead of destroying the evidence, the Kremlin decided to put it on display for all to see. Either they are becoming sloppy, or they no longer care. Behind the facade of adoption lies a gross violation of international law, the UN Convention on the Rights of the Child, and basic principles of morality. This is not about helping, but about assimilation, the destruction of cultural identity, and the forced change of the future of an entire generation. The irony is that the Kremlin itself chose to digitize the evidence of its own war crimes. And in a normal situation, all this should have led to Moscow becoming an absolute pariah, its assets seized, its economy crushed by sanctions. But I guess that once again, leaders of the Western world have missed the memo. Alright, at the head of Skibidi toilet, if you haven't been living under a rock for the last year or so, you probably did. Long story short, a little animated video with a head of a guy sticking out of a loo somehow exploded into a full-blown online series about a massive war between those toilet bowl people and a bunch of folks with cameras instead of heads. It's weird, it's unique. It's a meme, so viral it should carry a pandemic warning from the WHO. Plus, there were even rumors about Michael Bay directing a movie based on the franchise, though the director later denied those rumors, at least for now. But even then, it seems he's got some tough competition from Eastern Europe, no less. Here it is, people. Skibidi Toilet, Belarus Border Edition. Watch the exclusive trailer here on Break the Fake. Okay, long story short, for a few years now Belarus has been sending migrants to the border with the European Union. It is a coordinated effort, a hybrid warfare scheme designed to put pressure on the bloc and expose its weaknesses. Like many before it, the attempt shown a moment ago has failed, and soon the migrants were detained by the Polish border guard. No word on what happened to the porta potty or whether the perpetrators played the Skibidi theme song during their act. Also worth noting, the attempt was stopped thanks to a sophisticated system of CCTV monitoring, meaning, in terms of Skibidi toilet lore, the camera heads scored another win with this one. So yeah, I guess it's canon. I know, too easy. Despite the comical nature of the situation, the problem remains serious. The Belarusian regime continues to use migrants as a tool for political pressure on the European Union, while Poland is forced to spend resources on border security and responding to increasingly bizarre scenarios. And although this case can be presented as an anecdote, it also reminds us that people in despair are sometimes willing to take any steps, even absurd ones, to change their lives. Well, in that case, let me tell you, you're better off watching all episodes of Skibidi Toilet in one go than trying to storm the Polish border from Belarus. Don't let a Belarusian dictator make machinima out of your life. Want to hear a joke? Then listen up. In the country commonly referred to as a gas superpower, residents of a village in Saratov have been waiting 30 years to be connected to the gas supply. Ironically, natural gas is extracted several hundred kilometers away, but they had to act, right? And so they decided to switch to a new tactic. They recorded a rap song with an appeal to Russia's leader. A video showing rural youth and older residents rhyming about their lives without blue fuel is already spreading across social media. The situation seems particularly absurd when one recalls that Russian propaganda has been feeding the world all these images of gas power and pipelines of friendship for years now. Russian authorities are proudly building gas pipelines to China, India and Turkey. But laying a few kilometers of pipe to the local boiler room is apparently a task worthy of NASA. Okay, I'm sure you guys want to see the actual video, so let's see if this one has any future on the Billboard chart.
В селе Дубровное у нас люди 30 лет ждут газ. Кому мы только не ходили, все пороги мы оббили. Обещают много лет, только толку в этом нет. Президент, услышьте нас, дайте строгий свой наказ. Газ, газ, нам нужен газ. Президент, услышьте нас, вольский власть идет в отказ. Вся надежда лишь на вас. Газ, газ, нам нужен газ. Президент, услышьте нас, вольский власть идет в отказ. Вся надежда лишь на вас.
And there we go, that's 50 Cent's throne toppled. Anyway, the village in question was first promised a gas connection back in the 1990s, then in the 2000s, then in the breakthrough year of 2014, and now they promise it will happen by 2030. And judging by everything, the locals are already preparing an album called 30 Years of Waiting, perhaps with a bonus track called Gazprom, Dreams Come True. They probably hope that if their hip-hop song goes viral, state officials will finally come to the village. And, you know, they probably will. But not with gas, of course not, but to take selfies with the talented performance. Because in Russia, the only thing that is supplied without interruption appears to be state propaganda. And with this, we conclude this edition of Break the Fake. Please stay with us here on TVP World for more latest news and updates.